This is a Blu-ray player. This is physical media. I've got DVDs, Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays, 4K Blu-ray Steelbooks. With the likes of Disney Plus and HBO Max raising their prices once again in October of 2025, a lot of you may be thinking,
I think it's high time that I cancel these streaming subscriptions and just go back to physical media.
So if you got rid of all your physical media or you kept a select few and are thinking about getting back into it, I'm going to break down the physical media starter kit that you need. And guess what? It doesn't involve just physical media and a Blu-ray player. And I'll tell you why. Hey there, folks. I'm Elon Osborne. If you are not familiar, I am a home theater enthusiast. I love a good audio mix. That is one of my passions, but I also just love cinema in general. I love physical media. I never stopped collecting, even in this streaming era. I know I'm one of the crazy ones. So in this video, I'm going to break down some of the essentials that you will need in 2025 to get back into physical media. Do I need a DVD player? Yes, you will need at least a DVD player, but is it more advantageous nowadays to get a Blu-ray player at least? What about 4K Blu-ray players? Because there is a difference. So I am going to hop online and show you some examples of some Blu-ray players that I recommend, but this particular player that I was holding up at the beginning of the video, this is the LG UBK90. Honestly, it's been a while. I don't even know if they sell this anymore. I don't know if you can see that, but it does say it is a Ultra HD player. So that means it's a 4K Blu-ray player. I do currently own a much more expensive 4K Blu-ray player that I normally play my movies through, but I have held on to that one because it is still such a workhorse. And it supports so many different formats, so many kind of weird formats too, that a lot of other 4K Blu-ray players or even regular Blu-ray players don't support. But it is one of my personal favorite budget-friendly 4K Blu-ray players. Honestly, what I would recommend in 2025, because they are in fact backwards compatible. They will obviously play 4K Blu-ray discs, but they also play standard HD Blu-ray discs, DVDs, even CDs if you're wanting to get back into physical media on the music side. So that way it's kind of all in one. You can watch your movies or you can listen to music, just like the good old days, right? So to recap, that's tip number one. Get yourself a 4K Blu-ray player, because then if you decide to get 4K Blu-rays, you have a 4K television, then you can watch them in the best possible quality. And you can continue to collect Blu-rays and DVDs and still play them. But tip number two, if you don't have any disc player whatsoever and you need to get a new one because you threw yours out years ago, I would suggest at least getting a standard Blu-ray player. Because again, a Blu-ray player will be able to play standard HD Blu-ray discs and DVDs. It will not be able to play 4K Blu-ray discs, unfortunately. But if you want to save some money, because standard Blu-ray players are even cheaper than 4K Blu-ray players for obvious reasons. But even if you already have a really nice 4K television, with most 4K televisions nowadays, the upscaling capability is actually pretty darn good. So you can still plug in a standard Blu-ray player, put in a standard HD Blu-ray disc, and it'll still look really good on a 4K television. Are you getting the highest possible quality? No, because it's not 4K. Tip number three regarding 4K Blu-ray discs is that typically they are reserved for the immersive audio formats as well. So not only do you get 4K quality picture, which is 4 times the resolution of standard HD Blu-ray discs. But majority of the time nowadays, when you get a 4K Blu-ray disc, it is probably going to be in Dolby Atmos or DTSX audio formats. So again, if you're unfamiliar, Dolby Atmos, DTSX are the latest immersive audio formats that include not only ear level speakers and subwoofers, but also height speakers, whether that be bouncing audio off the ceiling if you have an Atmos enabled soundbar, or if you have in fact a dedicated home theater system that has, ceiling speakers or speakers that are mounted on the ceiling, that kind of stuff. Although it is becoming more commonplace that standard Blu-ray discs can have Dolby Atmos or DTSX as well. You just got to look at the back of it, because typically standard Blu-ray discs right now in 2025 will have the DTS HDMA 5.1 or 7.1 soundtrack, which is still really good. It's still lossless audio. It's still the highest quality soundtrack you're going to get versus streaming. So again, to recap, The Thing in particular, this is a classic 80s horror film. Because this is the 4K Blu-ray version, it actually does have a DTS-X soundtrack. But most of the time, when you get a 4K Blu-ray disc, it also comes with the standard Blu-ray, if for whatever reason you need that. And it usually comes with a digital code. And the digital code is if you have a Movies Anywhere account or Vudu. Well, now it's called Fandango at Home, but it used to be called Vudu. If you have a collection of digital movies that you can then access anywhere and stream it as long as you have internet access, that's usually par for the course when you get a 4K Blu-ray disc. You get the 4K Blu-ray, standard Blu-ray, and digital copy. Because I know a lot of you out there are probably buying digital copies of titles that you love, which you can then access through your Amazon Prime or Apple TV or whatever, but they're only digital. You don't have the actual physical copy. So that's another reason why I enjoy collecting physical media, because again, most of the time, I'll get the digital copy anyway. So that gives me more options. If I don't want to go and grab the actual physical copy, if I just want to access my Fandango at Home account and then watch the digital titles that I have in my collection. And just as another example, let's go over what is included in this standard Blu-ray version of Rogue One that I got years ago. I don't know, over a decade ago. Again, this comes with the standard Blu-ray, the DVD, but also the digital HD copy. So I currently have Rogue One in my Fandango at Home library. So again, folks, I know it's convenient to download things or purchase things in digital form, but you just got to remember that even though you purchased it, you still don't technically own it. Streaming platforms like Prime Video, like Apple TV, where you can actually purchase titles and not just stream them, they could, for whatever reason, they have the right to remove any title they want at any time. So you could wake up one morning, want to watch something that you know you have purchased, and for some reason it is gone, but not if you have the physical copy. So if you've been purchasing a lot of digital copies of things directly from Amazon Prime, I would honestly encourage you to get the physical copy and make sure it says that it also offers the digital copy with it, because then you have the best of both worlds. And it's not like it charges you extra for the digital copy, you know? Okay, and lastly, I just wanted to show you this version of Andor Season 1. This is, in fact, the Steelbook copy. It is 4K Blu-ray, but clearly you can tell that Steelbooks in particular are for collectors like me. Steelbooks are going to be more expensive. That's just a fact, because I don't think it's in fact steel. I think it is aluminum or tin or something. But just look at that. It's so clean. You don't have that like black 4K band at the top. I just love the clean look of it. But yeah, then you just have the discs inside. This did not come with the digital version, just so you know, which I think Steelbooks, it depends. Some Steelbooks do also come with the digital version, some don't. But yeah, this is like almost highest tier because this is just the first season in its entirety on 4K Blu-ray, but it's not like a ridiculous collector's edition with all this like extra stuff. You know what I mean? That's going to be like top tier. And those can run you like $75 or something, or at least, because it's got, you know, stills from behind the scenes and like a book that goes over all the stuff that went into the making of the movie, or even like collector's items that come with it, like a metal poster or something, maybe a bobblehead or a Funko Pop or something, you know? Now, when it comes to DVDs, they're not obsolete. I'm not going to say that. But just the other day, I watched this, and then I also have a DVD copy of Goonies, and I watched it on my 4K television that's in my living room, and it looked okay. I wouldn't say it was grossly pixelated, but you could just tell the quality just wasn't all that great. The 4K television was trying its hardest to upscale it so that it didn't look absolutely like hot garbage. But at the same time, if you happen to have a surround sound system, even a DVD will still get you a better sounding soundtrack than streaming, hands down. No, it is not going to be Dolby Atmos or DTS:X, but it'll still be Dolby Digital or DTS Surround at a much higher bitrate than streaming could ever do. All right, the time has come. Let's hop online. Let's see what we have nowadays in 2025 as far as Blu-ray players, DVD players. Do they even still exist? So let's check it out. You can go to whatever online retailer you want, but I prefer to try Crutchfield first because, as you can see up here in the top left, free 2-day shipping to California. But honestly, that is to most of the continental United States, to be honest. But also because I can easily compare and contrast a few items. It always has detailed descriptions with high-res photos, and their search function is actually really good. Now, do they carry every single home theater product ever? No, but they sure do carry a lot, my friends. So again, you can search through whatever online retailer you want, but my go-to is always Crutchfield first. So let's just go ahead and put in DVD players. All right, and then let's also sort by price low to high. Okay, we start off with some adapters and RCA cables. Okay, a Sony DVP SR510H. It is a DVD/CD player. They do exist, folks, but what's nice is, as you can see here, it is HDMI. If you've got an old DVD player that's collecting dust in your garage, chances are it's only going to have the yellow, red, and white RCA outputs. Probably not even going to have an HDMI output. So another reason you might want to upgrade your DVD player, or as I said at the beginning, at least a Blu-ray player. It does say selectable video resolution up to 1080p, which is considered HD. Again, upconverting DVD to HD is still not going to be as good as a standard Blu-ray disc, just so you're aware. But yeah, even though it might attempt to upconvert the signal to a 1080p video, this particular unit still does not play Blu-ray discs. But $63, that's pretty cool. And honestly, the next thing that shows up is in fact a Blu-ray player. So I think we can just skip DVD players at this point. Because again, only in a pinch, or if you just happen to still have your DVD player from back in the day, sure, go hog wild, get more DVDs, play it on your old DVD player. But in 2025, I recommend at least a standard Blu-ray player. So this one in particular, the Sony BDP S1700U, to be under $100, that's pretty darn good in 2025. Very simple with the rear connections. You got your HDMI out that connects to your TV, Ethernet, and digital coax out if you have an older surround sound system. But it supports Dolby Surround, DTS Surround. Yeah, real simple. Just a good old-fashioned HD Blu-ray player for $93. And apparently that's the only one that Crutchfield sells that is just a straight HD Blu-ray player. Because then it jumps up to $298 for the Sony UBP X700U, which is a 4K Blu-ray player. Nice thing about 4K Blu-ray players is that they not only support Ultra HD Blu-ray discs, or 4K Blu-ray, but also 3D and standard Blu-ray discs. If back in the day you collected a few 3D Blu-ray discs, 4K Blu-ray players will be able to play those. I know 3D kind of came and went around 2013 to 2018, and then it quickly died off again. But I do know that there are some diehard 3D Blu-ray fans still out there. So again, this is another reason to think about getting a 4K Blu-ray player as opposed to standard Blu-ray, because you will be able to support every format that you could think of. So under $100 to almost $300, that's a pretty big jump. But obviously with the holiday shopping season coming up, there will be some deals for sure on 4K Blu-ray players especially. The Panasonic UB420 is another one that I highly recommend if you're going to opt for the 4K Blu-ray player. Again, the Panasonic UB420 comes in at around $300, guaranteed to be on sale during the holidays at some point, because I would honestly say Panasonic and Sony are the most reliable, one of the few companies that still sell Blu-ray players, to be honest. But there's a reason that they still do sell them, because they are fantastic products that last a long time. Okay, just out of curiosity, I'm going to see if the LG UBK90 is still around, at least on Amazon, maybe. Wow. I'm going to tell you right now, I did not pay anywhere near $420 for mine back in the day. Inflation, tariffs, because that's another reason I recommend it, is because it is region free. But for $420, I don't recommend it. I only recommend the UBK90 if it is on sale. That's shocking. I think I paid under $200 when I got it. Wow. And also, to pique my curiosity, I'm just curious because Walmart is one of the few places that still sells physical media in store. I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't like to shop at Walmart personally. That is just personal preference. You can do what you want. Let's see what it comes up with when we put in Blu-ray players. They've got the ONN, ONN is the brand name, ONN 1080p Blu-ray player with HDMI cable, $70. Yeah, I've heard some stories. I haven't personally purchased ONN products before, but I have heard some horror stories that they are just not quality products. That sure, they're cheap, but it's because they're not only just inexpensive, but cheap quality too. So don't really recommend that one. But this Panasonic Blu-ray player, $84. Great. Sony S1700K Blu-ray player, $85. And that same 4K Blu-ray player, the Sony UBP X700 that we saw in Crutchfield for almost $300, is $238 on Walmart.com. So, wow, yeah, that's a big difference. Mini Blu-ray DVD player for $88. Another one for $83, but I'm not sure what brands these are. So again, I probably wouldn't recommend it. And yeah, look at this one, the cheapest 4K Blu-ray player that we've seen so far, $189. Panasonic, which is again a good brand, because the UB420 was the one that we saw for $300 on Crutchfield.com. This is the UB150K. So it probably has a little bit less quality internal components than the UB420. But again, it's Panasonic. So I trust Panasonic when it comes to their 4K Blu-ray players. So that's a darn good deal. And that's not even a holiday shopping deal. So there you have it as far as 4K or just regular HD Blu-ray players is concerned. If you can swing it, get the 4K Blu-ray player, because then you can support any and all formats you can think of. It is a better investment in my eyes, especially if you have a 4K TV already. But before I end this video, there is one more thing I need to tell you. And honestly, I'm going to go into more detail about this particular fact in another video, just so you know. But just in a nutshell, if you're planning on collecting physical media again, and you're wanting to get rid of streaming altogether, or just like Netflix and HBO, and you want to get rid of everything else, whatever. If you're planning on collecting physical media again, and you have a 4K television or a really nice 1080p TV from a while ago, if you are watching physical media and listening to it through your TV speakers, you are missing half the experience. As I alluded to earlier, DVDs have Dolby Surround or DTS Surround. Blu-rays typically have lossless Dolby True HD 5.1 or 7.1 soundtracks, or DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 or 7.1 soundtracks, or even Dolby Atmos, depending on the title. And almost all 4K Blu-rays come with Dolby Atmos or DTS:X soundtracks, unless of course it's like a classic movie that's only in stereo, or perhaps an older movie that has been remastered for 4K televisions, but still retains its original 5.1 surround soundtrack. But those types of soundtracks, whether that be DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Surround, Dolby True HD, they all are so much better than streaming audio. But you will not experience that with listening to it through your TV speakers. I'm just telling you right now, you are missing out. So with this last little section, I'm going to go over some sound bars that I would recommend, because then you're getting the full experience. You've got excellent picture quality and excellent sound quality. So I'm not going to go over every single soundbar. That would just take way too long, but I'm going to highlight some that I really recommend, especially for those who are still watching through their TV speakers. And as far as soundbars are concerned, I'm only going to recommend those that have subwoofers that come with them, Because for those unfamiliar, in a 5.1 or 7.1 or Dolby Atmos or whatever soundtrack, the 0.1 means the low frequency effects or LFE, which means that real cinematic bass that shakes your walls. So in order to tap into that, you will need a subwoofer. No ifs, ands, or buts. Again, this is me pleading for you to really experience and unlocking the full potential of your physical media. Okay, let's hop online. Yeah, let's just type in soundbar. So first off, if you're already in the Sonos ecosystem, maybe you've got some Sonos speakers around the house or something, and you've got whole home audio, stream your music through your speakers, whatever, and you don't have a Sonos soundbar, it just makes sense to get a Sonos soundbar because then it seamlessly speaks to your other Sonos speakers still. Here we've got the Sonos Beam 3.1 home theater bundle that comes with the Beam Gen 2 and the Sub Mini, all for under $1,000. But you could also get this bundle with the Beam Gen 2 and the Sub 4, which is a larger, more robust subwoofer. Or you could even get the surround bundle that includes the Beam Gen 2, Sub Mini, and 2 Era 100s to be behind you for your surround channels. Many options to choose from, mix and match however you want. If you're in the Sonos ecosystem, just stick with Sonos. Samsung is another excellent soundbar system that I would recommend. You've got this HWB630F that's normally just under $300, and that comes with a soundbar and a subwoofer. S700D for just under $500. Obviously, this is Samsung's flagship, the Q990F, which is almost $2,000. But man, it is honestly one of the best soundbar systems out there today, to be honest. In fact, if you can swing it in your budget, look for the Samsung soundbars that have HWQ in the model name. See here, the HWS800D, pretty good, but the ones that have Q in it, HWQ800D, those are the ones that are just a little higher quality within the Samsung series of soundbars. Here's the Q900F, that is a lot less, typically just under $1,400. The Q600F, just under $600. So yeah, that's my recommendation. If you're going to go Samsung, seek out the Q if you can. I will always recommend Sony as well, although Sony tends to be a little bit more expensive, just so you know. But I do enjoy how Sony kind of lets you build your own system if you want. Although you can get something like the new Bravia Theater System 6 that comes with everything, soundbar, surrounds, and a subwoofer for just under $800. That's actually a pretty darn good deal. I mean, you could get just the soundbar by itself, but like I said, I highly recommend getting at least a subwoofer with it. But Sony does also offer bundles like the HT-A3000 and the SA-SW3 wireless subwoofer and the SA-RS3S wireless surrounds. You can get that for just under $1,300. Or just underneath is the same exact bundle, except this one comes with the larger SW5 subwoofer and larger RS5 surrounds. Now, of course, you could go for the Bravia Theater Quad and the SW3 subwoofer bundle, but let me tell you, being more than $3,000, that was not the case just a few months ago. It has definitely been affected by tariffs. And also, in my opinion, if you're going to spend $3,000, you might as well just get a home theater receiver and wired speakers. I get it. It's convenient to plug it into your TV and it just does everything wirelessly, but a good old-fashioned home theater receiver and wired speakers is still, in my opinion, far superior than any soundbar, just because with speakers hooked up to an AV receiver, you're still getting speakers that have drivers that are at least 4 inches, 5 inches, whereas most soundbar systems, your little speaker drivers are like 3 inches. So they just don't push the air molecules that well, or I should say as well as speakers that are just bigger. And once again, let's just see what Walmart has to offer as far as sound bars are concerned, because I just want to lend you my expertise in this field as far as what to avoid. I'm going to be honest here. A sound bar that costs $50, you might as well just continue listening to your TV speakers. But right here, the Samsung Q Series 3.1 channel Dolby Atmos soundbar with Q Symphony, and it comes with a subwoofer for $279. I would not hesitate to recommend that one. Because again, seek out the Q, remember? And this is the Q Series 3.1 system. At Tepehi, I've never heard of that brand ever. Bose can be pretty darn good, to be honest, especially if you're in a pinch on a tight budget. You can only afford the soundbar itself and not a subwoofer with it. Bose can get you very far, and it's still going to sound better than your TV speakers for sure. This 100 watt Bluetooth soundbar with HDMI for $49.89? No, man. Again, just listen to your TV speakers. I do not recommend spending $50 on a soundbar. I would honestly spend at least $150, $200 on a soundbar to make it worth it and have something actually sound better than your TV speakers. That brand again, ONN, Bluetooth 5.1 Ultra Slim Surround Soundbar. Even though it's $181 and it comes with a soundbar and 2 surrounds and a subwoofer, still wouldn't recommend it. Vizio? Yeah, Vizio can be hit or miss, but again, still going to sound better than your TV speakers. And this particular 5.1 Vizio bar supports Dolby Atmos and DTS:X. So that's cool. So yeah, again, in a pinch, on a tight budget, Vizio, sure. JBL is another soundbar brand that I would recommend if you're on a budget. They've got some pretty cool soundbar systems out there, to be honest. Especially something like this JBL Bar 1300X. Because as you can see, you've got these surround speakers that are right next to the soundbar. That's because they are in fact rechargeable. It is one of the only soundbar systems you can get out there that has rechargeable surround speakers. They clip into the soundbar itself when you're not using it, and they recharge. So then you don't have to worry about plugging in your surround speakers behind you and finding an outlet somewhere. So those come in real handy. Now, this is the JBL Bar 1300X, but they do also have the 1300X Mark II now, which is obviously a little bit more expensive. Not that much though, $200 more. And again, you've got the detachable surround speakers, but you've also got the Bar 700 Mark II for $750. Comes with a subwoofer, comes with surrounds, the 1000 Mark II. So yeah, just depending on your budget, JBL, another brand that I would recommend. Okay, now that I've reached this point in the video, I think I am going to do a separate video regarding traditional AV receivers with speakers, because it gets a little bit more complicated when you're dealing with speakers, because there are speaker bundles out there, like 5.1 speaker bundles. They do exist, but they're pretty expensive. So I'm going to need to do some research and see what's exactly out there before starting that video, just to make it a little more streamlined for you. Because yeah, it just kind of complicates things. Because when I first started this channel during COVID, and I did some buying guides as far as which AV receiver you could get for cheap, which speaker bundle you could get for cheap, it is not the same anymore. 5 years have passed since then. So things are a lot different. So yeah, there you have it, folks. I'm also going to do another video soon about where to get physical media, because a lot of big box stores don't sell them anymore. Target does not sell them anymore. Best Buy does not sell them anymore. So I hope this video at least helps you get a head start on Blu-ray players and why you should invest in physical media again in 2025. It's not just me being on some crazy soapbox. It really is something you should consider, since all the streaming platforms are getting so expensive now that it's getting just as expensive as it was when you had cable TV. Continuing with streaming is beginning to make less and less sense to me. So if you're in that same boat, I hope this video has helped. So with that being said, this world is crazy as it is, so it only makes sense to be kind to everyone you come in contact with. Also, don't just watch TV and movies, experience them, hopefully through physical media. And you'll know what I'm talking about if you have a nice sound system. And of course, physical media for life.